and work with me to find real solutions to real problems. We've done it time and time again. This time it didn't work. Nearly 4 months later, I'm still deeply disappointed that we didn't solve the border crisis for my state and for our country. But to use this failure as a political punching bag only punishes those who were courageous enough to do the hard work of finding compromise in the first place. So who will be courageous next time? Who will stand up and do the hard work? Who will take the risks? Who will say, yes, I'll help solve this big challenge our country faces? Why would anyone? We don't leave today with a political victory. No one wins. No one gets the higher ground. Instead, we're saying to each other, don't step out. Don't try to solve big problems. Stay in your partisan corner, yell some more, blame the other side. Today, yet again, the Senate has chosen politics. But my state is still suffering. And as I said on the floor back on February the 7th, if you want to spin the border crisis for your own political agendas, go right ahead. If you want to continue to use the southern border as a backdrop for your political campaign, that's fine. Good luck to you. But I have a very clear message for anyone using the southern border for staged political events. Don't come to Arizona for your political theater. Do not bring it to my state. In Arizona, we're serious. We don't have time for your political games. There are big challenges facing the Senate and our country, and evidently, this is not a Senate interested in solving those challenges. Americans deserve better. I yield the floor.
Madam President.
Senator from Connecticut.
Madam President, I am deeply grateful to Senator Sinema, Senator Lankford, Senator McConnell, Senator Schumer, and others who worked with us over the course of 4 months to craft this landmark, unprecedented, bipartisan border security bill that, if enacted, would take the biggest step that we have taken in decades to bring order to our southwest border. It would give a shot of confidence to our constituents that we can find agreement on even the toughest of issues. I may come to a slightly different conclusion, though, on the reason that we are here today than my very good friend Senator Sinema and my great friend Senator Lankford. I think one of the most important enduring values in politics is the value of persistence. If you believe something is important, you don't give up the first time. We worked very hard to achieve this compromise. It's a good faith compromise. You'll see that it's a compromise because there will be Democratic members who will vote against it today. We solved some big problems in this bill, reducing the amount of time it takes to process an asylum claim from 10 years down to a handful of weeks or months, giving the president new powers to shut down the border when crossings get too high, giving new legal rights to migrants, allowing for more visas so that folks can come to the United States in a planned way to work or to be reunited with families. I think that compromise was so important that we shouldn't give up after failing once. I think the American people have told us that solving the problem at the border is so important that we shouldn't put away that compromise simply because the first time politics won out. Maybe I'm naive, but I had some degree of hope, some degree of faith that maybe the second time we could come together and vote to proceed to a debate. Because remember, that's all this vote is, not a vote on final passage, a vote to bring this bill before the Senate to litigate the outstanding issues that Republicans may have about the reforms in this bill. And so I deeply appreciate all of the work that Senator Lankford and Senator Sinema went into this bill. I just come to a slightly different conclusion. This doesn't make me less eager to engage in bipartisan compromise in the future. This doesn't dissuade me from trying to reach future compromises. Frankly, I think our decision to not give up when we've reached this really important product, I think it may, frankly, put wind behind the wings of those in the future who decide to do something really important on something big and work across the aisle to get it done. We have a chance right now to come together, to put politics and campaigns aside, to vote to proceed on this landmark bipartisan border security reform bill, and I hope that my colleagues do it.
President,
Majority Leader.
I'll be very brief. For years, we've heard that if you want to fix the border, then Congress needs to act. Today, we have a chance to act on the strongest border bill Congress has seen in generations. To those who have said for years Congress needs to act on the border, this bipartisan bill is the answer. It's time to do this about fixing the problem. It's our chance to hire more Border Patrol agents and asylum officers and immigration judges. It's a chance to stop the flow of fentanyl and give law enforcement the tools they need to scan 100% of what's coming into the country. It's our chance to give the President emergency powers to close the border, to update asylum laws and improve vetting. It's a chance to show the American people we're listening, we're acting, we can still reach across the aisle and work on one of the most vexing problems facing the nation. I implore my colleagues to not let this moment pass. Yield the floor. Call the question.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion, we the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 397, S4361, a bill making emergency supplemental appropriations for border security and so forth and for other purposes, by 19 senators.
Pursuant to Rule 22, the chair now directs the clerk to call the roll to ascertain the presence of a quorum. I'm just following instructions here. Is there objection? Without objection. The quorum is present. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to S4361, a bill making emergency supplemental appropriations of border security and combating fentanyl for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024, and for other purposes shall be brought to a close. The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Barrasso. Gotcha. Brown, Coons, Hickenlooper. Thank you. Kramer.